Well, hello, and welcome to 181 Days. I'm Jack, and I'm here today with a little bit of an unusual video for this channel. About a year ago, I did a video on my Better Sweater, my Patagonia Better Sweater. It's a sweater that you see a lot with finance guys and hiking types, and just generally it's kind of become a really good go-to fleece coat. I had one that I had for a long time that I decided to do a review on, just to kind of give you my highs and lows on it. And I got a lot of interesting comments on it. It's one of my most watched videos. I got a lot of, oh, you're not right about that. It's super, wind goes through it very easily. It's cut really weird. It's not comfortable. And those are things that I hadn't experienced with that coat. But after making that video and after reading the comments, and I responded to a few of them about this, that I realized I had a pretty old sweater, Better Sweater. I had bought it probably over 10 years ago at this point, probably about 2015 actually. So it's kind of like the older model, I guess. Even though they still look the same, it was an older Better Sweater. So fast forward a couple of years ago, I guess in the middle of this channel, I was on a work trip with my Better Sweater, because who isn't on a work trip with their Better Sweater? And I had it on my suitcase, and I actually lost it in the airport. I was in Atlanta, and I was flying out of Atlanta, got on the plane, realized I didn't have my Better Sweater, was very upset about it because it was my favorite coat. Actually was going back there 2 days later for a different work trip. Went to Lost and Found, which if you've ever had to deal with Lost and Found at Atlanta, wow, it's enormous and huge. Anyway, they didn't have it. It was gone. I lost my Better Sweater. I was pretty torn up about it. I really liked that thing. It had, not aged very badly. It was super comfortable, fit me perfectly. So I go and I buy another one. I bought a new Better Sweater. They didn't have my color anymore, just like a darker gray. They had this lighter gray. So I bought the newer one, started wearing it, and instantly I realized that some of the comments were spot on. It's definitely a little bit different. So the new Better Sweater, I think that, I'm not gonna say anything for Patagonia, I think they make great products, but it's definitely a little bit of a thinner weave. I think the old Better Sweater had a very thick kind of fleece weave, even though a lot of wind would still go through it. It never felt thin. This new one actually feels a little thin sometimes, especially in the arms. It's not like you're gonna ever see through it. It's not thin by any means, and it's still a very hot sweater. If you're, wearing this and you're traveling, you have this under something, you're gonna overheat. It's a very hot fleece, but it's definitely just not as kind of like tightly put together as the original one. I think the lining on the bottom as well, where it goes kind of around your waist, is a little more floppy. I really don't know how to describe it. It's just not as like tightly put together as the other one that almost felt like you were wearing like a thicker vest. I know they make these in a vest, but it felt more like a vest bottom. And I think the top, like the collar on these is kind of like one of the most notable things. And I'm happy that the collar still stands up pretty well, but maybe it doesn't feel as starched, and maybe I'm just having rose-colored glasses on this. But I agree, people were right. It's definitely different quality. The older one definitely seemed to be more heavy duty than this one. Now this is not by any means a bad sweater. It's still the same price, it's 120 bucks. They've been like 120 bucks forever. So that hasn't changed very much. I do think the quality's maybe gone down. I don't even want to say gone down, changed a little bit. So I've traveled with this a ton since I got it. And one thing I will say compared to the old Better Sweater is a lot of people mentioned they had a lot of pilling on the coats. And my old one had a lot of pilling as well, all over it, just from backpacks rubbing on it and this and that. This one has not actually got any pilling on it, and I haven't had to take any care of it. I haven't had to trim it or clean it, and I like that. It definitely, it still can withstand a lot. It does seem like the material has come a little further and that it's a little more durable as a material, but maybe, I don't know, just not as tightly constructed as an actual unit. But I like it. It's still a great coat. I'm still really happy to have one. I don't think I would ever be without one of these, because I think it's one of my favorite go-to coats to take out and about. And I know people make fun of wearing them for business stuff, but I like to wear it when I go to work sometimes, just because I think it looks good. So I think it's still a great coat, but I gotta admit, commenters were right. There definitely is a difference from the old Better Sweater to this new one. I don't think it's a horrible difference, but I admit it, there's a difference. So Better Sweater 2.0, whatever you want to call it, definitely a little bit updated, definitely a little different. Same design, I'd still say same warmth, but it does feel a little less tightly put together. I'm not really sure how to put that, but yeah. So anyway, I would still recommend buying one. If you're ever on the fence about getting a better sweater, just buy it. It's a great product. It's a great coat to have. I beat the crap out of these things, and I've never torn a hole in one. I've never broken it. If it gets dirty, it cleans up really easily. I'm still a huge fan of it, still a huge fan of Patagonia, but I have been thinking about this. People were right. So there you go. A YouTuber saying you were right. You love to see it. All right, thanks for watching. Got some new videos coming out, so please enjoy, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Take it easy.